plot lines I want you to steal. Your players somehow find their way into a forest where a drow community is having a problem. On their way here, they were rained on by ashes and smelled smoke. The leader of the drow is at a loss and begs the players to help them. The drow claims that there is a demon in the forest that is butchering everything alive and burning the rest. This monster has killed all of the scouts, so they have no information, but the leader offers a powerful magic item in return as no one will help them. As the PCs move through the forest, the smoke in the air thickens, but they do not find demons. The first thing they encounter is a goth, a type of apparition. This will raise some red flags within the party and may cause some arcana checks. Remember that apparitions are not studied by many. As they press forward, they perhaps see some friendly flumps feeding on some psychic energy. More clues. Just before dark, however, they will meet this demon. It is not a demon, however. It is a hellfire engine that is possibly at this very moment ripping a deer in half. Your players should be at the level that fighting this hellfire engine is a tremendous battle and takes a lot out of them. Everything, in fact. But it should not be not overcomeable. That is very important. After they eliminate the construct, in the center of it, powering the entire thing, is an eye. This eye is different from normal, mostly because it is still reacting to light even though it's not attached to anything. This eye wants to get back to its home, so if the players put it on the ground, it will begin rolling in a direction. If the players follow the eye, they will be led through the path of desecration that the hellfire left, and it smells like burnt flesh and it stings your eyes. Finally, this eye will lead them to a cave entrance, and in that cave lies the true enemy, a wicked beholder attempting to make this land its own. He has captured many of the scouts and is experimenting on them, so maybe there are some screams coming from the cave. Now the only thing left to do is start the dungeon and slay the wicked. Have fun. Plots to steal. Your players start at a brewery or a tavern where people are having a fun time until suddenly the room goes silent as the door opens. In walks a smirking red tiefling and a few gnolls. This is Gaul, and he is trying to become the Viscount of the city by force. He is also the leader of a pack of gnolls, as he killed the previous gnoll leader. Gaul smiles at the owners, and the gnolls begin to toss the place. If the players try to stop him at this point, Gaul will laugh and probably cast Hold Person on one of them, telling them that they are too small for his eyes. When they are finished tossing the place or tired of the players bothering them, they will leave. At this point, Liu, an elderly black dragonborn, approaches the adventurers. It turns out Liu is the father of the current Viscount, and Gaul wants him dead. So Liu asks the adventurers to bring justice to Gaul. Now this is very fun because what does justice mean? And where is Gaul and his gnolls? A little bit of a ways outside of town, there is an abandoned wizard's tower that he has taken over and renovated for his own purposes. And now, the adventure begins. Plots to steal. One way or another, your players end up in a small town having to investigate an odd house, perhaps by order of the mayor, guild, or maybe someone they were tailing vanished into it and has returned. The catch? The entire building's a mimic, but no one knows that. As soon as they decide to enter, the entrance has become enveloped by fleshy interior walls, and now there is no escape. Now that they're in, personally, I would throw a dangerous puzzle, like the first floor perhaps starts filling with stomach acid, and the only way out is a key that they must find in order to get to the second floor. Once on the second floor, since we're on the topic, I keep this floor full of mimics pretending to be furniture, and that we will go straight into an encounter with the party and will probably in ambush unless they're more careful than they have been. After all is said and done, the party completes the task that they came here for in the first place. There's only one problem left, escaping the house. Now hopefully someone is playing a barbarian because it's time to demo the house until it spits you out. Plots to steal. You somehow find your way into a secluded town. When you approach the town, you start to notice that all the signs are written in another language. It looks very strange. If anyone in the party knows Abyssal, they see the similarities between the two scripts and can actually read what is written if they have an intelligence of 12 or higher. Heading into the town, you see that most people look starved. However, they are happy and cheerful, though tired, and dotted in a few spots are statues akin to Anubis but a dark lion. Through overhearing or talking to the locals, you learn that the town is blessed. You learn that two Sphinx had chosen the town, and they have been protecting the town night after night from demons. All of the local writings have been changed to Sphinx, and the townsfolk must sacrifice their food to the pair in order to keep them able to fight. Suddenly, everyone starts rushing to the center of the town to greet the Sphinx. However, what shows up are not Sphinx, but Lamias. They are bloody and beaten, but around one of their necks, you notice a necklace that you saw another traveler that crossed your path wearing. See, the Lamia want nothing more than for people to suffer, so they are abusing the town, bleeding it dry while hunting the backroads for mortals. They plan on sacrificing the town and the travelers that they've collected to summon something fierce. And now your party can either stop this or deal with the consequences later. Plots to steal. The adventurers come across a lovely little town somewhere on their way to a large city. Children are playing in the street, townsfolk are kind, and they offer them a place to stay for the night for free. However, once sunset hits, a bell starts ringing in the distance. The inn goes quiet as the barkeep starts boarding up the doors and windows like he has done this every night. If the players ask, they learn that 2 months ago, 3 ferocious man-eating beasts started patrolling the town at night, searching for anything alive to devour alive. If the players stay in the inn around 3 a.m., they are woken up by the beast throwing themselves against the door trying to break into it. If they face the monsters, they will discover 3 very, very hungry hellhounds. But hellhounds are summoned. Who or what brought them here? Well, it turns out about 2 months back, a young boy found an imp in the woods. In exchange for keeping the imp's being there a secret, he told the boy that he would grant him a wish. And the boy wished for 3 dogs to play with, and thus 3 hellhounds came to play. And now your players are off to find out why there are devils just traipsing through the forest right now. Plots I want you to steal starting levels. So your adventurers wind up in a small town of about 75 people, and something isn't right. The first thing that they notice is a colorful paint splashed on the side of buildings. You also notice that someone is stirring their coffee with a fork. Rather quickly, the leader of the town spots out the weapons that your players hold and asks the party for help. You see, the goblins were horrendous for a time, pillaging and doing stuff like that, but suddenly they stopped and the town was at peace. But now, something's happened. It started with the goblins paint bombing the town and filling the water skins with paint and throwing them at anyone and anything. And then they ransacked the town but only took the spoons, and then last straw was stealing the children's toys for themselves. The leader will pay you to get rid of them once and for all, and off the party goes into the mountains. Now they quickly spot a few goblins, however these goblins choose not to fight the party and instead ask them if they are here to finally kill the chief. Everything was fine in the world of the goblins. They would raid the town regularly and afford food until one day the chief claimed that he was the king and required everyone to wear jester hats, and things just devolved from there. Some of the goblins are trapped in his spell and others are just trying to survive. At some point, somebody will make a check and remember the tale of an old curse that can infect goblins and turn them into insane, silly versions of themselves called nilbogs. And if you don't know what a nilbog is, oh boy, you're missing out. Now the adventurers must find a way into the goblin camp to get through the infected goblins and to fight the nilbog. Plots to steal, but this time inspired by the new Magic the Gathering D&D crossover. When one travels into the Underdark, one does not often expect to find a forest, but as you travel down, that is exactly what you come across. Now in this forest, you happen upon a glade and decide to make camp. However, before anyone can sleep, she finds you. This is her forest after all. Cropping up from under the forest floor, a dryad emerges, but this dryad looks unwell. She calls to the players. Through the darkness and desire, I can feel it in me, fire! Get it out, so my mind can cease to shout. This is where your PCs discovered that something vile is stuck within the dryad's tree, tainting it and causing her connection to the forest and mind to be weakened. But what could do this to the dryad's tree in the Underdark? Well, continue the story, stitch this video, and tell me what you think attacked the dryad. Plots to steal. As your PCs travel at night through the farmlands, a downpour begins. Seeking shelter, they come across an abandoned shed not far off the road and decide to make camp for the night. While the night goes peacefully, in the morning you are awakened by a rancher with a smile on his face. He introduces himself as Glenn, the owner of the shed in the land where he raises and sells horses to adventurers quite like yourselves. He has a caring and calm demeanor. As your PCs prepare for the day, Glenn rather cheekily says that the party now owes him one for the nice dry night. He says that there is something killing his horses at night, but he is too afraid to go see what it is. He asks the party to kill it for him. If they accept, the party wait until nightfall for the beast to arrive. Out of the darkness, a Yugoloth of your choice emerges and begins picking up horses and tossing them to the side, seemingly trying to find the perfect one, until they spot the PCs, make a beeline for them and assault them and only them. And as the Yugoloth dies, he cries out, "We had a deal." Now the rancher is nowhere to be seen, nor is any money. However, on Glenn's desk, the players do find a list of every single item that they have on them and how much gold they are worth each. Oh my. Congratulations, you now have a wonderful warlock full of hate and revenge at your disposal. Plots I want you to steal. At some point in this long game, your PCs are going to need to find a special magic item, maybe something to unlock something, to defeat something, whatever it is they need it, and there's only one. Now the last known location of this item was on a person named Othello, a bard of a famous, powerful, adventuring party. However, nobody knows what happened to this party, and the last known destination was the Plane of Fire. After your group gains access to the Plane of Fire, they are met by the Afridi, who challenge the PCs to a gauntlet to gain the knowledge that they seek. After some hack and slash, they learn that Othello was headed to an old tomb covered in sand, and that it had ended many adventurers' careers. The PCs head to this Egyptian-themed tomb, and in it is everything from puzzles to traps to monsters. However, no boss. Once they reach the center of the tomb, you see Othello and his party's corpses, and so much gold. All of the gold, the most gold that anyone has ever seen. If the PCs take the item off the bard and leave, nothing happens. However, if they touch even one piece of gold, a red flash of light erupts through the crypt. As the walls rip away from the floor, you find that this tomb was actually the belly of a red dragon that is now a zombie trying to kill the party. Plots I want you to steal. Well, it is not often that a kobold seeks out adventurers, but that is exactly what happens to your players. Your PCs are somewhat known around these parts, and one day a small kobold walks up to them. She simply places the letter at their feet, completely and utterly terrified, and then walks away. She is unable to speak common, and if they try to speak draconic to her, she is terrified of them. Once they open the letter, they will find scratchy handwriting and barely understandable common. The letter mentions a terrible threat, making a mistake, and asking for their assistance. If they do heed the call, they will find
find themselves in a wilderness nearby, whatever is nearby, at a rather large kobold camp. Well, large for kobolds. This is where they will meet the elder and will learn that the clan was tricked by a woman. She told them that they were summoning a Merid to bring wishes and rain. Instead, they summoned a disgusting demon that was half human, half boar. So what do your players do? Do they play diplomacy and try to get the neighboring cities to kill the demon? Or do they track it down and kill it themselves? Or do they do nothing and let the wound fester? Whatever is Nalfeshni, do not sit still. They are movers and shakers of the demonic world. Plots to steal for those chaotic neutral PCs. So most world organizations have some sort of guild system set in place, whatever they are called. It is a group of people with the same skill that work together for fair pay, finding work, and trade secrets. What if there was a chef's guild and this guild was elite and well known for infusing magic into food in a way that no others could? They keep their secrets of the enchantment of flavor locked tight, away and guarded. Your PCs are possibly part of an adventurer's guild, or maybe they just need work. Either way, they're introduced to Donnie the Fixer. Donnie is a little gnome, and while he is not a chef, he is much loved by the chefs because he fixes issues for them. Donnie tells you all that there's a chef that has lost his way. He seems to have stolen some trade secrets and is now on the run, trying to release their magic to the greater population, and we can't have that. For a massive bag of gold and a favor from the guild, Donnie the Fixer asks your PCs to fix the problem by bringing the chef to him. He promises that he will not hurt the chef, but simply retrieve the magic that he stole. What players don't know is that is a code for Modify Memory to strip him of everything he knows about cooking. Everything. It's going to be an interesting moral conundrum whenever they catch the chef and he tells them what they're going to do to him. Don't be shocked if they try to take down the chef's guild afterward, because that's what happened to me. Plots to steal, but for the start of a campaign. Your party is fresh out of joining the Adventurers Guild, and lo and behold, they find themselves in Katian, a small but prosperous village thanks to the jade deposits in the earth around them. Quickly, the players learn that all trade and sale has been banned from the town, for the Viscount's daughter has been kidnapped. When the villagers learn that your party is with the Adventuring Guild, they plead with the players to speak to the Viscount so they can get on with their lives. The Viscount, Rory, is a pot-bellied man with a round face that normally wears some sort of ceremonial makeup, but has all been ruined by his tears. He exclaims to the adventurers that his 6-year-old daughter has been kidnapped by the bandits to the north to force him to allow them to tax the bridge. There's a bag of gold for anyone who can bring her back alive and unharmed. Now, a series of bandit fights in a bandit cabin are easy enough for the PCs, but what is not easy is the acrobatics check to catch the daughter, who is a cat, a Persian to be specific.
I'm titling this one, I'm not evil enough to do this plot, but somebody should. So picture this, at level 1, you tell your players that they come across a hero of some sorts, and this hero tells them that they need to go on this great, amazing quest, and And so they go for the next, 5 or 6 levels on this amazing quest sent by this hero who needs you to go do this because he doesn't have enough hands, and they go, and they do it, and whenever you get to the boss, you realize that you were modified memory. The PCs were modified memory. The guy who told you to go do the quest modified memory you so that you would go do the quest and think that you were doing the righteous thing whenever in reality you were fucking everything up. And then the next 5 levels are you correcting shit and going and murdering that guy. I'm just saying, I'm not good. Take it. Hey, thank you so much for enjoying my little Plots to Steal marathon while you enjoy your dinner or something like that. I really, really appreciate it. I just wanted to come on here and let you know that Plots to Steal is going to be on YouTube, and it is also going to be on TikTok, so those are the places that you can find it. So if you want to do the subscribes and the doodly-doos, I really, really appreciate all that. I also wanted to let you know that if you like to get your stuff that you are stealing from me and other creators in PDF form, fully fleshed out, ready for you to play, I do have a newsletter that I call my loot letter because it's a newsletter but you get loot with it instead of a stupid newsletter where it's just advertisements. This isn't advertisements. This is where I give you the things that I am experimenting on, because I am constantly experimenting and growing and honing my skills as a writer. Last month I let out a loot letter that had my take on horror. Horror is not something that I typically do. So it was very fun to get creative with that kind of stuff. And I told you that this was supposed to be a plug and play quest that you insert into your whole campaign whenever your players are getting a little too cocky. And that, because it takes away your stuff, it makes you, anyways, there's a whole thing about it that it strips you of a lot of your belongings and stuff like that. And it can be very terrifying in the sense of being horror. It ended up more thriller, but I'm very, very pleased with the result
results. And a lot of people have given me feedback and they are also pleased with the results. So if that sounds like something that is up your alley, I would totally recommend hitting the doobly-doo and hitting that MailChimp so that I can give you my next one, which is going to be my challenge to myself. My take was a fort or a dungeon, like an actual dungeon, like a classic dungeon with no walls. And I thought, how would you do a dungeon with no walls? So I put it 200 feet up in trees. Yeah, it's a druid. It's druids. You're going to be killing druids. It's fucking amazing. So that's February, by the way. So I'm super duper excited to be able to release that to you guys. I'm super duper excited to be able to release all of my writings to you guys. And so if that's the kind of stuff that you're interested in and you want your stuff in PDF, fully fleshed out form instead of these like little idea bubble burst, doobly-doo down below. Anyways, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending your dinner with me or spending your time with me. And yeah. I will see you next time.